Good morning, everyone. My name is Garrett Lamkin. I'm joined by Kristina Thomas and our instructor, Dr. Adam Cuban. Dr. Cuban's going to be passing around some business cards so that you can download and interact with the media we're going to be presenting to you. We're students at Ball State University out in Muncie, Indiana, and we're currently enrolled in a Police and the Press program. This is designed to increase the relationship between the police and the press so that headlines like these can stop widening the gap of cooperation between our industries. The course is called Police and the Press. It was originally designed by Dr. Cuban when he found himself a crime reporter woefully unprepared. How can you fairly and accurately report on a story when you don't know police jargon, you don't know how to interact with them, you don't know who you're allowed to talk to? The course was originally designed to break down the myths and the misconceptions for students, as well as to immerse students in the day-to-day activities of a police officer. So every week there was something new that we would do. Whether it was emergency vehicle operation, we learned about the drugs, the canines, we learned about crime scenes, we did mock traffic stops, we went on police ride-alongs. If you can think of anything in the police world, Kristina and I have done it. The course was graded in a variety of ways. One of the biggest was just our participation, how much we were willing to immerse ourselves into this new world and go outside of our comfort zone. As far as classwork is concerned, students were asked to create a Storify blog about a topic that they were passionate about. The big kicker was a multimedia feature story, had a minimum of 3 platforms. These were put onto our tablet application called Police and the Press. And along the way, students were able to build personal relationships as well as get some really amazing stories, as Kristina will tell you.
In the preceding interview to get into this class, Dr. Cuban explained a couple things to us. He said that this class might not be like others that we'd taken in the past. There could be some things that would leave us feeling panicked. In a couple days, we might leave crying. But he also explained that this class could be so much more than a few credit hours, and he was right. Now, one of the first things that I want to explain to you guys is that this class is not designed to make you fall in love with the police. It's not supposed to make you feel biased towards them or feel like you have to cover their butts. Basically, it's designed to make you see things from their point of view and be able to report fairly and accurately on it and be able to give your own decision on what's right and wrong after seeing the training that they go through. For the first time in my life, I was really asked to interact with the Muncie police and see what was going on in my own community. And some things I would have felt a lot better not having to see. There were 2 ride-alongs that we were required to go on, one with the University Police Department and the other with the Muncie Police Department. It seemed easy enough. I was one of the first students to go along on it, and on my first ride-along, I watched an officer help a student with a broken back. I watched another officer talk a person off the edge of suicide, and in one of the craziest events in my life, I watched an officer that I was following around take down an armed gunman. It was really hard to sit there and justify how police seem to make all these mistakes and how they seem to get this tunnel vision until I was there myself and felt that adrenaline course through my veins. Now, I've never wanted to be a cop, but I have wanted to be able to report fairly and accurately on what's happening around them, and I feel like that's a chance that I've been given with this class. I was also given a chance to build professional relationships with the cops in my community. Now, this has been very important in some of the speeches and stories that I've written since. It also let me connect to my uncle, who was a cop that I kind of underappreciated. It opened a door to talking to someone who was a little bit sarcastic to kind of tell me about the different hats that he had to wear, about how serious you have to become when you become a police officer, and how he kind of felt as a person. Now, professionally, this class has offered a wide array of opportunities. We were informed in the beginning that the content being produced for this class was going to be published various places, the biggest of which was this application that Dr. Cuban had been working on. These projects were largely done outside of class, and they were based on themes of lessons or just general topics happening in the police world. One that I covered was over ACAB, which stands for All Cops Are Bastards. I asked a couple people who believed in that theory why they felt it, and I talked to some cops and asked them why they felt that way or their response. And I kind of tried to find a middle ground between the two. Yesterday in a conference, a reporter from Ohio also mentioned that she'd been asked to give her personal opinion live on police brutality without much preparation. Now, this class kind of gives you an ability to talk about that without saying something that might get you fired. Being a unique class, Dr. Cumin advised that this course could be used as a resume builder and to kind of travel and go some places. There have been several out-of-state conferences that they've attended, like one in Montreal, Canada, and one in Austin, Texas. These opportunities, along with the ones in class, have provided some important networking for journalists. After speaking at length to an officer, I even got offered an internship at the Indianapolis Police Department doing press releases. Through all the classes, we did anything like feel the danger of having weapons hidden from us while being screamed at, to having kind of a fake crime scene where we felt the pressure of screwing things up and maybe losing somebody their case. But we knew the end game, the biggest end game, was to create this application that Dr. Cumin was working on that Garrett will explain more about.
So this is the application that students submitted all of their work to. The goal of this application was to be as interactive as possible. So as you scroll down, you can see some of the stories that students have created. Things from pat-downs to the canine force, stiff standards with the hirings, and one that I wanted to show you, the officer's tool belt. As you can see, visual was a big aspect of what we were looking for. The text stories were limited because that's not what people go to mobile for. And one of the things that we like about this application is you can interact with almost everything. So you see these less lethal options that police have on their tool belts, and I can click on this plus sign by the taser, and it'll show me a text feature about what a taser is used for, how they work, when an officer would use it and when they wouldn't. For example, I never knew that officers typically will not shoot a taser at someone who's running, because a taser causes your muscles to seize up, and if you're running at full speed and your muscles seize up, you're going to hit the floor pretty hard. And that's where most of the injuries occur. One of the other things that most of these stories have is a video element, and the video on this story is a shining example to just how immersed students got in this publication. The author of this article actually opted to be tased so that he could feel and know exactly what it's like.
You ready, Court?
He is ready as I'm ever gonna be.
All right, here we go. Taser, taser, taser. Okay, you're done.
We weren't lying when we said the goal of the class was total immersion. One of the things that really stuck out with me was on the first day we were asked to do pat-downs. The officer that was in charge, Sergeant Dave Bell, brought up a smaller female and asked for a male volunteer to search her. Wanting to immerse myself, I volunteered. It wasn't until after I had searched this woman that Sergeant Bell informed me that it was his wife. You can look at the graphics and you can really learn from this application. Things like why a cop will take away jewelry because that can be used as a strangling weapon, and there's actually some necklaces and things that are designed to hide small blades from you. You can go through and you can click on really almost anything. The other part of this application is what the criminal justice students that were enrolled in the program had to do. They were asked to do a survey to help with the accreditation process of the police department. So they sent out a survey asking about how safe do students feel? What do you feel about the police? How do you view them? And the police were able to use this to sort of improve their image and improve their accreditation. The last thing I wanted to show you was a contributors page so that you can really see who is involved, and more importantly, if you click on any of these pictures, you can get a personal account, so you can see what each student really took away from the course and what their favorite memories were. You should hopefully have received a business card describing how you can access our app. It's Police plus the Press, it's a Frog Baby production, and is available on any tablet store with mobile coming soon. Thank you.